rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's the #1 chief rocker in Knicks universe, your main man, Uncle Freezie, and welcome to the premiere Knicks in the Nighttime joint, the Knicks at Night podcast. Salute to everyone watching us on YouTube. Salute to everyone watching on X and wherever else you catch us at, man. Salute to everybody coming in the door. Man, good to have y'all here with us. And hanging out on a Friday night, man, it's All-Star weekend. No real pressing issues. Just going to hang out for a little bit, maybe about 60 strong minutes. Hang out about 60 strong minutes, man, and you know, talk that talk. We got the morning show, well, not the morning show, but we have the members only show scheduled for 9 a.m. in the morning. That's going to be awesome. Also, probably also do some reflections on the members only show. I've been trying to get a couple of guests to come on. I don't know if I'm able to pull that off because it's Valentine's weekend. But you know, we'll talk numbers on that members only show. We'll talk numbers on that members only show. You know, what numbers are important, what numbers aren't. How y'all feeling out there, though? King Ribby in the building. Salute. Ribs is in the building. Salute, salute. What's good, Ribs? Man, so I'm chilling, man. I'm not gonna I don't really have a pressing topic to talk about, man, during All-Star weekend. Just rocking a spot, hanging out, providing a place for Knicks fans to come hang out. Catch some type of real NBA content. Yeah, Derek Frank's in the building. Salute. Salute everybody. Right now, at the moment, while everybody's coming in, getting ready to chop it up, talking about this topic or whatever, man, I'm searching on one of my favorite platforms, X, for Knicks content, just to see what I can show you guys. Just to see what I can show you guys. Let me look up here. Let me X that out and put Knicks up here. While everybody coming in the room, salute everybody. Salute to all my people jumping in on YouTube, man. I see y'all. Thank y'all for coming through, hanging out with us. Hotline Bling is in the building. Salute. Man, I love this already. Y'all, yo, this is my heartstring already, everybody. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, this legit is my heartstring. I'm gonna change this scene right here. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I don't know if there's another I don't know if there's another content creator in the game that feels the way that I feel about this guy. Let me get him on the screen. Ribs, I feel about this guy like how you used to feel about RJ Barrett. Ribs, I feel about this guy right here. I feel about him like how you used to feel about RJ Barrett, bro. Chat, I feel about this guy right here like how some of y'all used to feel about Frank Ntilikina. Y'all remember how some of y'all used to feel about Frank Ntilikina? That's how I feel about this guy. I'm gonna show some of this and see if I won't get in trouble. I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but we'll see. Is that it? Ribs, that's how I feel about him, bro. That's how I feel about him, bro. Sohan for 3. Oh, yo, listen, man. I've been wanting Sohan for a minute. He's here, and it's like a dream come true for me. Right? I ain't even gonna front. Yeah, hey, Hotline Bling, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, hey, yeah, that yeah, Frank's yeah, the hair thing, yeah, it's kind of yo, the yellow sneakers and all that. Yeah, I'm like, but he a kid, bro. He a kid, bro. I mean, not a kid, but you know what I mean. Yeah, man. I'm super excited. I'm super excited that he's here. And this player in particular, I don't think there is a I don't think there is a what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think there is a reason to keep him on the bench, right? I think the only thing with Sohan is you got to find a way to implement him, bro. You got to find a way to implement him because he is super everything except shooting. Yeah, like you can see by the highlights, like my guy is explosive. And he moves like he's more like a guard, but in a big body. Right? He's more like what OG Anunoby was. That he's a 21-year-old OG Anunoby type. Except OG could score. I mean, my guy is legit. And as you can tell, he's got a hitch in his shot. Stuff like that, you have to put in like 2 or 3 summers of smoothing out that hitch that's in his shot. But they're showing offense right here. But man, this dude's defense is going to be crazy. The son of the legend, Kerry Cox, is in the building. Yeah, yeah. Bow says after injury, Sohan is different than the Sohan we talking about. Yep. Explain that to, if that's the case, if that's the case, I like to know the difference because being honest, I don't know the difference. The only thing I know about Sohan in the games that I watch is really high motor, like high motor Sohan, very strong, very quick, athletic, and team player. If there's a difference to him, I don't know what it is, and quite frankly, I don't pretend to know everything. Nobody does. But what I will say is the kid is from what I've seen over the years, he's a bouncy wing. So, yeah. Yeah, man. Chat, tell me what y'all want to talk about, man. Yo, keep it a stack. Y'all want to talk about Giannis? No Giannis fans in here? Bow says not as quick, and I don't think his mental is right coming off an injury. He been playing soft. Oh wow. I didn't know that. Well, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that at all. Yeah, Franks, that's what I'm asking you. Kerry Cox says Sohan is a taller version of Josh. Yeah, like not just taller, but stronger and more athletic and faster and quicker than Josh. Like Josh is a pretty good athlete for his size, but when you look at the guys that are Josh Hart size, like Anthony Edwards, Josh is not in that athletic profile for guys his height and size. Josh is a decent athlete, but when you look at the elite athletes for his size, VJ Edgecombe, Anthony Edwards, and I'm not saying that they're better than Josh. What I'm saying is they're different than Josh, is what I mean by that. Kerry Cox says, hey, Giannis will have his time this coming summer. That's going to be interesting, y'all. Wayne Peterson is in the building. Pete, good, man. It's good to see you here, bro. Pete says, do you think Diawara and Sohan fit well on the court together? Yeah. I don't, hey, Pete, to be honest with you, I don't think that's, man, listen, fit is something like, let me put it this way. All talented players have to compromise something in order to make the group fit. Even New Edition had to get rid of Bobby Brown, right? You know, when you have so much talent and somebody don't want to fit, everybody has to compromise. The thing with Jeremy Sohan is he provides a level of slashing and athleticism that you just can't find the guys that are 6'8", 235, athletic, high motor, and you just can't find those guys and just anywhere. You know what I'm saying? In terms of fit, I guess the first question should be, what type of player is Mo Diawara? So I'll ask chat. I'll ask y'all that. What type of player is Mo Diawara? Before we find out what the fit is, right? Y'all tell me what type of player Mo Diawara is, and then we can have that conversation. Courtney Alfred in the building. Salute. Y'all tell me what type of because so the question on the floor is what type of the question on the floor is Mo Diawara, or can Mo Diawara and Jeremy Sohan fit? My question to y'all is, what type of player is Mo Diawara? Right? Because depending on what your answer is, they may be a perfect fit for each other. Right? Because if you say Mo Diawara is a 6'9" athletic switchable wing, then he and Jeremy Sohan are hand in glove. Right? But if you say Mo Diawara is an ISO scorer, then he and Sohan may not fit because ISO scorers neutralize cutting and spacing. Right? Guys that are ISO scorers, they don't want y'all to do nothing else. They just want a space on the floor where they can ISO. They don't want guys doing all that moving where they have to read the defense when they go into their move. They don't want to do that. They want everybody just to stand still, stay where they are, so that they could just ISO this one guy to death. So if Mo Diawara is an ISO scorer, I'll give an example. Jeremy Sohan and Prime Carmelo couldn't exist together. They couldn't exist because Melo's not going to play defense like that on the defensive end with Sohan. And then Sohan offensively is a cutter that likes to receive the ball on the move, a good finisher at the rim, and a conduit to other cutters. A guy that can read the floor in the half court and get the ball off to other people. Right? Now, if you say Mo Diawara is a transition threat, then of course he and Jeremy Sohan fit together. One grabs the board, both run the floor. Both can grab the board and both can push it. Both look to finish strong at the rim. Right? So it depends on how you view what Mo Diawara is at the moment. Yeah, Gangstar A says Sohan is a Lamar Odom type. And I agree, except Lamar Odom can get you buckets. Odom can get you buckets. Yeah, and Kerry Cox, the son of the legend, says Mo Diawara doesn't have bunnies. Ugh. So how does that fit work then? Because the question on the floor, somebody asked in the chat, is, do these two players fit together? I'm going to lean on the side of two young players without veterans on the floor maybe a work in progress type fit, right? Maybe a work in progress type fit, right? But if you have them on the floor with maybe a Alvarado, if Alvarado is on the floor with them, they're a perfect fit, man. They're a perfect fit for each other. They're a perfect fit for each other. I'm excited for the day that my guy gets to play. I hope he gets to play against the Pistons. We don't know yet. We'll see. This is where I'm leaning, right? Gangstar A, like that's where I'm leaning. That's where I'm leaning. I'm leaning in the direction of in these last 20. So you got to win 16 games to win a championship. So I'm gonna say 25. And these last 50 to 52, these last 50 to 60 games, I think it's going to be a testament to how Mike Brown uses a young talent like this. So Kerry Cox says, when have you ever seen Mo take it to the bucket and lay it up over anybody or dunk the ball? Yeah, his finishing at the rim has been a challenge. But I don't think he's below the rim. I just think his finishing is a challenge. I don't think he's on the ground floor. I just think his finishing is just weird. So, Kerry Cox, are you down on Mo Diawara? Is that what we're hearing? Chat, are y'all down on? Wait a minute. Hey, so wait a minute. So Sohan ain't played a game yet, and we're down on Mo Diawara? Is that what we're hearing? I'm just asking. Chat, is there any Mo Diawara support in the chat? Any support for Mo Diawara? No support for Mo Diawara. Rib says no experience. Okay. All right. All right. Rib says Mo is raw. Okay. Okay, so Kerry, so the son of the legend says, no, I like Diawara. I just want him to develop a mid-range game. Yeah, okay. Randall is in the building. Salute. All right. All right. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. If I'll be forthright with everybody. I love where the Knicks have. I love how the Knicks have added wings. Right now, here's the thing: the Knicks added wings in a maybe an unconventional sense, but I like it. Oh boy, y'all. NBA Economy Show is on the prowl. Salute to NBA Economy Show. NBA Economy Show is on the prowl, everybody. Hey, Frank, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this to Franks, and this is like, this will be to everyone this summer. I'll say this to Franks early though, because sometimes I have to say stuff for it to be on record. Right? Like, y'all know how sometimes we'll have these conversations. I'll speak directly to y'all, and then next thing you know, somebody's on like another show saying something Uncle Freezie said as if they're Uncle Freezie, and don't give this chat any credit. Like, you know what I'm saying? My thing is this. I like the fact that Sohan is here. I don't know how long he's going to be here, but I do like the idea of the Knicks addressing the wing position, not just with Daquan Jeffries and players of that size or type, right? Torres is in the building, right? But the thing is, what I'm thinking is, my feeling is that the Sohan, Dadier, Diawara mixture of talent is going to open some eyes about how the game can be played with athletes with some size. And then with that, I think the Knicks will use their draft pick this summer. I know they have a bunch of them. I don't expect them to use all of them, but I expect them to draft a dynamic, explosive backcourt player. Because if, and this is a big if, we don't know, the money people are going to money me to death, right? They're going to say nothing's possible. And I get it, because it may not be. But if the Knicks can find a way to keep Sohan, to keep Shamet, to keep Diawara, to keep Deuce, to keep Dadier, I think the play here for us now is the explosive backcourt player. Right? And what would that explosive backcourt player look like? So the explosive backcourt player would look like VJ Edgecombe. Now, will he be as talented as VJ Edgecombe? Of course we don't. We doubt it, because VJ Edgecombe is a top 10 pick. But if we're going by the way the team is being built, by adding certain pieces and things of that sort, right? Then, of course, it only makes sense for the Knicks to go out and get that player. And then maybe after that, then maybe an explosive front court player, somebody that can compete with Hug Porty. Right. And this is just our conversation. It's All-Star break, and this is just a conversation about that stuff because there are no games going on right now. So I'm comfortable a little bit talking about that. I'm comfortable a little bit talking about that, right? Let me just check something. I want to make sure. I want to make sure YouTube ain't tripping. Okay. Randall says, I hate to say, but I don't think Shamet is going to be back next season because I think there are teams that's going to offer him more money than what the Knicks can offer. That's what I was saying. Randall, that's what I was trying to tell my people the other night. They didn't want to hear me. They don't want to hear me on it, man. Yo, Ralph, what's good, man? I bet you hit me up and I didn't answer too. Oh shoot. I mean, dude. Yeah. Yeah, hey, Raphael, I'm ready, man. I just need you just gotta let me know the time and place, and then we can rock from there. So Kerry Cox says Pacom is out of it. No, you wrong, dog. You gotta listen to me, bro. I know y'all watch a lot of shows. I know y'all watch a lot of Knicks content, bro. I know y'all do. I know y'all can't get enough of it, man. But sometimes y'all gotta listen to your mans, bro. You gotta listen to your mans. Your mans be right about a lot of stuff. I'm not saying that I'm smarter than everybody. I'm saying I put in a lot of time in preparation. Like, I don't just go by what I hear people say. Like, I legit think these things through on my own. Like, I don't recycle everything else that's in the universe. Like, I think basketball. Like, I legit think about basketball and the way this thing goes. And so what I'll say, man, is the Dottie thing, y'all need to lay off my guy. Y'all got to lay off my guy Dottie, bro, and let him cook because all prospects are not going to develop at the same pace. All prospects are not going to develop at the same pace. Bro, don't be the Detroit Pistons with a whole bunch of young guys on your bench. Like, y'all don't remember when Chris Middleton was a second-round pick coming off the Pistons bench. Y'all don't remember that. But y'all remember Chris Middleton for the Bucks in the playoffs, though. Nobody remember when Jokic was a second-round pick and when it was Jokic, Nurkic, and Plumlee all in Dallas. And Jokic had to work his way up the depth chart. Nobody remember that. We got to stop picking on our young players, man, and let them develop. It only makes sense for them to develop. And if they develop slowly, so what? If they develop slowly, so what? They're developing. It's not like you need Pacom Dadier to replace Mikal Bridges right now anyway. Why do you need Pacom Dadier to replace Mikal Bridges? Why do we need Mo Diawara to replace OG Anunoby? They're not. Mikal Bridges is a top 20 NBA wing. OG Anunoby is a top 20 NBA wing. They're backups, these dudes that are developing. They'll dare come. It's just not right now. Egypt says, what are we going to do with Pate? Same thing. It's the same thing. Dink Pate was a little more raw than everyone else. So he needs to play every day, every day, every day, every day. Right? Because of that 1 year he spent in that development league, it hindered his development. That 1 year in that developmental league, no pun intended, hindered his development, as opposed to if Dink Pate would have went to Baylor or Kentucky, right? Dink Pate is going to play every day, every day, every day, and get better. Right, and Egypt says he's not under contract. Someone's going to grab. Same thing with Mo Diawara. Mo Diawara is a free agent at the end of the year. Mo D is a free agent at the end of the year. He runs the risk of getting plucked too, but at the same time, the Knicks are in the forefront for those two players, if that makes sense. And plus, I trust that the Knicks are too smart to develop talent and then let it walk out the door. I think the Knicks front office is too smart to just allow talent to just walk out the door. Right. You see how calculated they were with the Yabusele deal. The Yabusele thing lets me know for a fact that when two entities want to when two entities want something to happen together, they'll work together. Right? When two entities want something to happen, like when two people want to kiss, it don't matter how many teachers or how many security guards or how many cops or how many whatever. When two people want to kiss, they're gonna get that kiss in, regardless of what we do. The Dink Pate thing, to me, though, I'm not an expert on Dink Pate. I'm not gonna lie to you. Right? I'm not a Dink Pate expert. I know there are some that do put in more time following Dink Pate. I probably should. I just don't have the time. But from what I hear from others, the kid is going to be really good. The kid is going to be NBA ready in about a year and a half. one of the things I did want to talk to everyone about too, down the stretch of this, down the stretch, I think we're going to be in a race, kinda. I don't know if it's the word I'm looking for. I don't know if the Knicks will be able to catch Detroit, because I don't know what the Pistons look like after they made their trades. It's only been like a week, maybe not even 10 games. It's only been like 5 games. I don't know what Detroit's going to look like. What I do know, though, is that this Boston team is for real. I thought by January, Boston would fade. But Boston's looking like they're not going to fade. Boston looks like they're going to be there. Now, are they built to be a championship contender? Probably not. Probably not. But at the same time, you know, they'll be a pretty tough team to play in the playoffs. And in our situation where Boston may get that 2-7, or either they get that 2-7 or that 3-6 matchup against Orlando or Charlotte or Cleveland or whoever's in those spots. I can't see Boston winning a series and the Knicks playing the Celtics in the second round again. I can't see the Knicks playing Boston, someone like that, in the second round. Now, here's my thing, though. Here's my thing. The thing with Boston. The word on the street is that Tatum may come back at some point, right? I don't know. I don't think it's possible. I personally don't think it's possible, but at the same time, you never know what a decent Boston team can do, right? You never know what a decent Boston team can do if they were to get energized with the. Is that who I think it is? Yeah, I got to share this with y'all, man. I got to share. That's funny. Energized, a scrappy Boston team gets the energy boost from a Jason Tatum, and they may be able to just knock someone off with just the energy just off of Jason Tatum coming back. Hey, Kerry Cox, there's your bunnies. Kerry Cox, there's your bunnies. I don't know if you saw them. And Nick Yak says, playing them, I'm no longer afraid. Yep. And the same game said, yeah, me either. Egypt asked, do you think the Knicks have money to keep Sohan next season? I don't think we do. There are multiple things at play, right? I think the Bridges extension kicks in. I think the Brunson extension kicks in, I think. I'm not for sure how the money and stuff will work. What I do know is if the Knicks want to keep Jeremy Sohan, they'll keep Jeremy Sohan. Hey, Kerry Cox, there's your layup. There's your Mo Diawara bunnies. Is that Diawara? The footage is so great. Yeah, that looked like Diawara. The mannerisms look like Diawara. I can't tell because the footage looks so grainy. Yeah, that's Modi. There it is. Yep, there's your bunnies. East Blue Drew was good. There are a lot of the Knicks are the Knicks are definitely in a spot when it comes to the contracts, right? But every team, every playoff team is going to be in a spot when it comes to when it comes to contracts. The only thing is you can't really trade or move anybody. He's moved his name. Yeah, that's that's Diawara playing in the ABA. There's the bunnies. Yeah. Yeah, and Nikki, I think you're right. I think he signed next year. We were talking about his extension. His extension wouldn't kick in till after the next year anyway. I don't think there's any question that the Knicks are going to retain everyone that they want to retain. I don't think there is one person that'll escape out the door. I don't think there is one person. And then at the same time, if Leon Rose goes to James Dolan and says, "Hey, we need to lock up Mitch, Deuce, Sohan, Diawara, Dink Pate, extend Jalen Brunson." I mean, not extend Jalen Brunson, but extend who else? Extend Josh Hart. Extend Josh Hart. And we also need one other key free agent. I don't think James Dolan has a problem with going over the second apron. I don't think James Dolan is that type of owner, right? I think the tax bill thing that everybody talks about, that people are afraid of, I don't think Dolan's afraid of it. Like, I know people talk about the second apron as if it's a hard cap. Like if you go over, like you can't go over a certain number. You can go over that number. The penalty is just severe. When you go over that number, the penalty is ridiculous. But if you tell James Dolan, like, hey, JD, listen, you hadn't been in salary cap hell since before Phil Jackson. And now we're asking you to go into salary cap hell so that we can keep this group of players together. I don't think JD has a problem with cutting a check. I don't think there is when this summer when we have the conversation about re-signing Mitch, extending Deuce, extending Josh, re-signing Diawara, maybe signing Dink Pate. I don't think James Dolan has a problem with getting into cap hell. He hadn't been in cap hell for years. Right? You don't, what do you, because it could, I mean, and then by the time you sign those guys to those contracts, you don't know what the Tory B is in the building. Salute. Like, you don't even know what the CBA is going to be like, because if they sign those contracts and then in 2 years the CBA changes again and the things are not so penalizing, right? Doesn't penalize you as much, then and I understand that's a if. That's a big if, and I do understand that. Right? I do understand it. But I think Dolan would care less about the second apron when it comes to Mitchell Robinson, the Deuce extension, and the Josh extension. Because all the money that they made Dolan just by making the playoffs and all that stuff. Dorcosaurus Rex in the building. What's good, bro?
Oh, what's up? I finally made it in time.
Yeah, you finally made it in time. You're not coming up here to offend nobody, right?
Tonight, no. Tonight, I'm all
right.
peace.
All right. On best behavior. Good. What's up, bro?
I mean, it's an interesting time, man. Interesting time. I'm very curious how things are going to play out after we get back to the All-Star break. I mean, I guess my hot take for the evening is I'm not thrilled by the Jeremy Sochan pickup. Like, as much of a play the kids guy as I am, I don't see what to be excited by with him. Maybe I'll be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong, but we'll see.
What were you looking for?
One clear area where he adds something, because from my research, I did a lot of homework into the kid. It's not like I hate him. I did the homework. They tried playing him at point guard. Didn't really work out. He didn't have such a great assist to turnover ratio. As far as they tried him as a center, he's big, he's strong, but he's not really fast. So he's not so good at handling the rock. His assist to turnover ratio is like 1.6 or something like that. He's big, but he's not like a 6'10" huge guy. You know what I'm saying? He's heavy, but it also makes him too heavy to guard faster guys. He's not a great rebounder. You know, the rim protection numbers aren't there. Shooting is definitely really lacking. You know, I think he's shooting 25% from three, and he's on a long decline. I'm not saying it's beyond redemption or anything like that, but if I could point out one of those things and say he's really good at handling the rock for his size, he's really good rim protection, really good three-point shooter, then I could say, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I think you took a couple of things out of context. The
I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong.
Hold on. Hold on. So the first thing you took out of context, you got to hear me so you'll understand why I'm saying it, right? So the first thing I think you took out of context is the year that Jeremy Sochan played point guard for the Spurs. They were a terrible team, and they knew they were terrible, right? And some would admit. Some would even say that they were tanking that season for Wemby, right? Some would even say that. So basically, what you have is a Jeremy Sochan at point guard after you make the DeJounte Murray trade to Atlanta, and now you don't have a guy on the roster. You're searching for one, and Jeremy Sochan looks like the best candidate in camp. And then you take a guy who played center at Baylor and play him at point guard in the NBA, right? And then just to assume that his point guard skills would translate right away means that if he were a good point guard in college and got to the NBA and was a bad point guard in the NBA, then we could say that maybe he's not a true point guard. Maybe his court vision and things like that are not there.
Was he a point guard in college?
No, he played center in college.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
that's what I just said. You didn't hear me. That's what I was saying.
No, I'm probably sorry about that.
Yeah, so he was a center in college, center, rebounder, rim protector in college, undersized, right? Just an athletic guy, and in college you have a 6'8" center, no big deal. That's been a thing in college since probably college basketball has existed, right?
Okay.
The things though that he was forced to do, because then when you try to play him, now think about this, when you try to play him at center with Wemby as your in theory power forward, as a rookie coming into the league, all this type things, now you're asking the point guard from the previous year to be your center the next year. Put Sochan in a spot where you got to give him some time to adjust. But by the time the adjustment was made, the other kid, the other lottery pick kid, the guy, I think he's in Chicago now. I can't remember his name. The 6'11" guy, Zach Collins, the guy from Portland. Zach Collins is playing center and now you're moving Sohan off to the wing where he's playing in a different position so that Wemby can get some center minutes and some power forward minutes, but not at the, basically the world revolved around Wemby once you made the pick.
Can I just like more of a big picture of where I'm coming from with it? Again, I don't hate the guy. I'm very happy we have a young guy here. I mean, now everybody's open to projects. I was the guy that's like the crazy one endorsing projects. Here's a project.
Right.
If the Spurs, who are objectively better by any means of finding, developing, and drafting young talent, could not turn this guy into something, it makes me doubt our ability to. And if he can't play next to Wemby, who is, I mean, how I'm sure he doesn't synergize with everybody Wemby, but what team doesn't want to have Wemby on the team? You know what I'm saying? It gives me pause. So that's
right. I think that's out of context also, because for all
maybe 100%, yeah.
Right, because when we say that as if the Spurs always hit, we can bring up names like Malachi Branham, like guys that they draft and guys that didn't work out, right? Or guys that didn't hit their ceiling, like Keldon Johnson, who you draft and you develop him on that same path. You expect the thing, and Keldon Johnson just turns out to be a solid NBA veteran, a solid NBA player, right? The thing with Sohan coming out of college, you knew there was no one special gift. You knew that he was a moldable piece of clay that, if developed by the right organization, he could hone certain skills and become something. But the thing about that is when you hit a home run or a grand slam of epic proportions by getting Wemby, Sohan is no longer your priority.
Right.
Wemby is. Wemby, do I split the development energy between Sohan or Wemby, or divert all of the development energy?
Right. Okay. I get it. Let me ask you a question. You understand just ball better than me. I'm completely understanding. But where do you see him playing on the team?
That's a very nuanced question. That's a great question. And how I know it's a nuanced question, because I sense there's a follow-up question headed my way after I answer.
No, I genuinely want to know where you're the coach. How are you playing Jeremy Sochan?
So I got you. I am not certain where I'm going to play Sohan. Now, and here's the reason. If this was Tom Thibodeau in his 6th season as the Knicks coach, I would know exactly where Sohan would plug in. Sohan would be an energy jumbo wing brought in for defense in long stretches and then certain defensive lineups to close out games.
Okay.
Right. But with Mike Brown here, and you have veterans that are still trying to understand their roles in Mike Brown's system, as Alvarado's new, he's learning a role. Guys coming back from injury, they're getting acclimated. There are guys that had roles that had their roles reduced, like Tyler Kolek. So my thing is I don't know exactly where Sohan is going to play. And here's the other thing. Here's the thing too. The reason why I don't know for certain is because we've seen Alvarado in this short stint get minutes at the 2. Just not mega minutes. Like,
don't you think that is really incumbent upon his ability to consistently shoot well from 3?
No.
No. Tell me why.
I don't think a 3-point shooting team doesn't need everyone to shoot threes.
But I'm just saying, for him to play the 2.
You mean which guy? Are you talking about Alvarado or Sohan?
Yeah, Jose, yes.
Yeah, definitely. To space the floor, definitely. Yeah.
That's what I'm okay. So I was actually thinking about this earlier, and I'm glad that I'm on the show now, because I'm like, for me, I'm not such a fan of the Jose trade. I understand this is a more nuanced show than a lot of Knicks shows out there, so thank God I'm here. But I don't like it, because for me, I feel like the best case scenario is, okay, well, now Tyler Kolek doesn't exist anymore. Now you just bench Kolek forever, and you end up trading him, and you don't add anything to the team. If you wanted to go for defense or purely for playmaking, That's not Jose Alvarado is both, but you know what I'm saying? You can defend the one, you can play the one, maybe the two.
Right.
I was thinking, how do you actually construct a lineup where Tyler Kolek and Jose Alvarado can share the floor? Well, the only real logical answer, and anybody, you could stop me, anybody in the chat has a better answer, you need to surround them with length and athleticism to compensate for what you're not getting with those two guys. So it's either going to be, and I even hesitate because I feel like I've seen people say this already, oh, well, you could play Muhammad.
I see where you're going.
Right.
See where you're going. So here's the thing. I think what you're telling me is not length and athleticism, but the things that length and athleticism generally gives you in all lineups is basically what you're getting at.
Okay,
right?
Look, I'm going to be honest. A lot of people in the Knicks community, I feel like, are less stringent about this than me. I feel like I'm a bit of a size queen, especially with our team. We are statistically the 30th shortest team in the NBA. If we're already playing Tyler Kolek and Jose Alvarado, I want to see two dudes on the court that's at least 6'8".
Okay. But the reason why you want to see that though is for what? For defense, athleticism.
Because it's for several reasons. One, why do the Pacers always kill the Knicks? What is one reason why the Pacers always kill the Knicks? Not just because they have length, athleticism, youth, but because they have multiple people in one lineup that can put the ball on the floor. So it's not very clear where the threat is coming from. So people say this, but also like you're making my point. The people in the chat are saying, "Oh, Kolek is good, but come on." So in the end, you're basically saying that the trade is bad because you just replaced one player with another. That's functionally the same player, and you still have Jordan Clarkson here on the lineup. You're saying it's a redundant trade. That's what the chat is saying. I'm trying to find a way from now until the end of the season. This is our team. Don't you want to maximize the roster instead of put this guy on the shelf forever? That's not smart team construction.
Right. Right.
So, and it's silly to me because people are saying, "Oh, Kolek, forget Kolek. We have a new shiny toy." He won us games already. As a matter of fact, we won the Pacers game that Jose Alvarado already played bad in. And people are already lauding him as he's a straight upgrade. Why Kolek played good versus the Pacers and Jose Alvarado played bad versus the Pacers? Why? It's a reasonable question. You can't just immediately come anoint him the god of point guard play. I mean, look. Here, people want to talk about this is a great. I'm glad that we're having this conversation. So Jose Alvarado, amazing defender. Tyler Kolek, terrible defender. This is the official narrative, right? Who was Jose Alvarado's teammates when he was a good defender on the Pelicans? I mean, context matters, doesn't it? Right?
It matters, right?
So let's look at the players he was playing with. He was playing with Dyson Daniels, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Carlo Makovic, Yves Missy. One of those players would make the Knicks a better defensive team. One, let alone four.
Right.
And we're talking about a team, the Pelicans, that I believe was a 6th ranked defense. You had Dyson Daniels, broke NBA records for steals. Herb Jones, all defense. Multiple all defensive players. So, and even more to that point, I believe when Herb Jones got injured, they went from a 6th ranked defense to like a 29th ranked defense. So you're telling me that was Jose Alvarado that made them the number 6th ranked defense in the NBA, or 3 all defensive players that is the best defensive players money could buy in the NBA today?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to understand that this guy was insulated in a setting where he had better rim protectors behind him than Cat. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying that to the general Knicks narrative, because that's not what I said. You're saying that in general. Maybe Knicks fans have been saying that to you.
I'm trying to take what the roster we have from now until the end of the season. How can we get the best out of what we have? You have these ingredients. What's the best dish you can make with these ingredients? Okay.
Right.
Dyson Daniels is in Atlanta, but where did he start? He didn't start in Atlanta. He started with the Pelicans 2022. He was with the Pelicans. He was still a good defender then.
He was a great defender with the Pelicans, yeah.
So the point that I'm making is, for example, Yabusele. People thought, I think the front office thought, you take Yabusele, copy him from Philadelphia, paste him into New York, you get the same production. It doesn't work that way. No. And you have to anticipate that it's not going to work that way. Mitch is a good rim protector, but he's not one guy that can protect the entire team by himself. That's not a logical argument where you're talking about 4 Zion Williamson, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Dyson Daniels is clearly, objectively, a better defensive group than just OG and McCall. There's not even an argument there.
Okay.
We're talking 4 elite all defensive players versus even OG doesn't make all the defense team.
Right.
If we really want to be honest, you know.
Okay.
I'm not saying that he's a bad defender, but the context matters, and it shows you the type of lineup he could thrive in.
Right. Understood. So I understood where you are with the Alvarado point, where I think our conversation discontinued at the Alvarado and Kolek comparison.
So sorry, I got distracted by the chat because the thing I don't like is we got a new player. Now the other player, you never see him again. It's like, I feel like Knicks fans is like excited to destroy their own depth. When you see that, having different options clearly helps you be a better team. It clearly helps you have a higher ceiling. And people are already celebrating, oh, Alvarado, so you're never going to see Kolek again. If we would have played Kolek versus the Pacers, we probably would have won. So it shows that even Alvarado, with all his experience and defensive acumen, already in 3 games, you see there's some games where probably Kolek is a better choice, or at least could play with him if you make the right lineups. You see where I'm going with this? That makes the team better. It's not one player comes here, you never see the other player again. We're cheering, we have one less player to play. How does that help the Knicks? I think I don't understand like that. They're like, the Knicks fans is like excited to destroy their own depth. So it's a double conversation that I'm trying to have here, is that one, you don't just copy and paste the player's production from their first team to the Knicks. They're going to have exactly one-to-one the same production with no thought to context. Right. Is frankly asinine. And then 2, you have these players on your roster. Kolek has won you, could at least say conservatively, 5 games this season, just by him being the best player in the game that he played. So why wouldn't you try to find one lineup where you could play both of them together? So you could use your entire lineup and you could have the maximum strength version of your team. What's the downside? That's what I don't understand.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think if we just focus on one thing at a time, the Kolek and Alvarado situation, I think they may be the best tandem of guards that the Knicks have. And I'm including Brunson and Clarkson, Brunson and Kolek, Alvarado and whoever. I think Kolek and Alvarado may be the best tandem because, for one, Jose Alvarado is not a ball dominant guard. Right.
You don't think so? You don't think he is?
No, I don't think he is.
Okay.
Right. Because he's not a high volume dribbler and shooter and assist guy. Right. But
you fucked up. I'm just.
Well, hold on. Let me finish my point.
Yeah,
because you want a question before you have my answer. Right. Let me just say this. I think Tyler Kolek, though, is a floor general that can direct your offense with and without the basketball. Mostly with, but with and without, right? When Tyler Kolek is on the floor, guys seem to cut harder and get open harder when he's on the floor because he's more likely either to direct you into the pass or pass the ball to you, right? And that's based off of what I've seen this year. I'm not going off of what I saw last year or what I saw in the past 2 G League sessions, right? Now, the Alvarado piece brings one of the parts that we don't talk about much, and that is the transition piece. What happens when we get a rebound? What happens when a team shoots a 3 and misses? Alvarado gets you into transition faster. And I know the ball moves faster than a man, but damn it, Alvarado is fast as hell, right? And so when you play these two together, it's the meshing of both. And then here, Alvarado has already had a game where he knocked down 8 3-pointers. So he can play without the ball and still have an impact without the ball.
Okay, so that was a question of mine. I feel like I've done the homework on that portion of it more than I have. As far as his speed, so how are you valuing and defining speed?
All right, so this is a trick question, everybody. So we know speed is distance over time, right? That's easy. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by the definition of speed? You're muted. You muted.
My bad, my bad. So something that I've grown to value more as I've looked more into the data is if you look on the NBA.com by stats, you can see average speed offensively and defensively.
Right.
And I do value that because yes, you could say some guy is fast by the eye, but
Right.
if their average speed is slow, then what are you going to say? Like for example, something that I found surprising that also matched my eye test because people always want to say, "Oh, stats, eye test." Najee Marshall, by the stats, is the second slowest person on the Dallas Mavericks after Anthony Davis, which is shockingly slow, in my opinion.
Right.
And I think if you watch his game, you can actually see like his 3-point. He's not a sniper from three, so he has to pound the rock and get into his spots to shoot. He's not going to go dribble three and shoot, you know.
Okay.
So if you look, Jose Alvarado by average speed is slower than Yabusele on the Knicks.
Yeah. That's where I tell all you stat guys to stay in study hall. Don't go to the gym. The gym is not for y'all. Because
I have a counter argument.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. An athlete knows, people that played basketball knows every trip up and down the floor is not gonna be your maximum sprint up and down the floor. So there be times where you change speeds in the game. Sometimes you're going to sprint full speed. Sometimes you're not, right? And it all depends on where you are in the game. There's a loose ball. Of course, you're going to be hitting the L2 trigger to sprint, right? That's just one of the things, right? If the play is happening down the floor and it looks like it's a layup when you're running that way, you're probably going to be jogging that way, because you still have the backcourt protection behind you in case something happens, right? So when we look at like the numbers for stuff, we can't be fascinated with that stuff because your eyes are telling you that Jose Alvarado is fast, right? But when data tells you Jose Alvarado is not fast, that's when data is taken out of context. That data is probably compiled by somebody who has never played a sport. And
So,
that's why
hold on.
it's important. No, I'm not holding on. This is remember who you rocking with. Just remember, be respectful, right?
I'm defaulting to you, but I do have an actual conversation.
I understand, but when you were speaking, I just was quiet just to let you rock. Just want to finish
My bad.
So the thing is though with the speed thing, right? You have to weigh both. You know Alvarado was fast, right? But since you can't prove it, we go by data, but data doesn't prove it. What data says is based on these uneven trips up and down the floor, this is what the numbers say his speed is.
Are you done? I can make
Yeah.
Okay. So my thing is that I recently realized some coaches, our coach included, I feel like they love small ball.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people like small ball because the implicit assumption, and this is where I really feel like data is helpful, because a lot of people have these assumptions that they use their eye test as a way to match their assumption already. And if they have a mountain of data that goes against their eye test, oh, well, then my eye test is better. Well, not necessarily. And where am I going with this is that a smaller player is automatically faster than a taller player, according to the logic of small ball. Well, he might move his legs faster, but he takes smaller strides. So am I personally saying that, oh, the data says Yabusele is faster than Jose Alvarado, therefore he is? No, but what I'm saying is that a player that looks like they're more active at a smaller size might not necessarily be faster because their legs are smaller. Even I'm telling you, I did my homework, at least, not to Freezie extent, but I looked at pre-draft scouting profiles for Jose Alvarado. They said he has an underwhelming first step. I mean, he's not a super athlete, you have to be honest, and that he gets his game off by being crafty and he has like burst speed, but compared to a guy that's not running individually steps as fast, but each step is like two of his steps. You see what I'm saying? Like they actually might be faster.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but we understand that speed equals distance over time, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Like we're not, we're not talking about we're not talking about like, you know, people running the 100. We're talking about like, is Jose Alvarado faster than someone else in a certain distance, like a loose ball 14 feet away?
Right.
Right? Who's going to get to that ball faster, Karl Anthony Towns or Jose Alvarado?
Right.
We think it's going to be Jose Alvarado. This is what we're saying. Somebody gets a rebound and the rebound bounces, say 17 feet. We get the long rebound and outlet to Jose Alvarado. Who is going to get from top of the key to top of the key faster? Your lumbering big man or the short guy that takes small steps?
Right. So that's
the thing that I'm getting at, right? Davis.
Oh, he's the fastest player on the team. What are you talking about? He's a blur.
salute Davis. Of course, it is faster. Of course, my bad. But yeah, so and the thing is, and the thing too, though, to the point that I want to make about what you said is not just the act of being fast, but the process of thinking, speeding up, right? That's what Jose Alvarado brings. Like Jose Alvarado brings the mindset that we have to get everything quicker. Everything has to be a certain pace. So, but I do, to your point, I do understand that Jose Alvarado was flawed. Jose Alvarado, for most of his career, has been a role player. And so while a couple of things you said, I understand where you're coming from with it because it's a narrative that exists in NBA, in Knicks universe. I don't necessarily agree. So when you said everyone, I was like, no, not everybody, but I do understand what you mean. It's a
company accepted, obviously.
Yeah. Of course. Right. Respectfully, and that's the reason why I say it that way, because I knew what you were getting at. I'm not in that boat though.
I don't really think of you as a guy who just makes these presumptions without really investigating. You know what I mean?
Right. We have to give some of this stuff some thought. Do I think Alvarado makes the team better? To the one of the questions you added initially, yes, and it's not because of what people think. I think Jose Alvarado makes the Knicks better right now because of the impact of the Deuce McBride injury. Right, the Deuce McBride injury coupled with the Jose Alvarado acquisition automatically makes the Knicks better, because we would legitimately have this question every night of who's going to replace Deuce on this roster, right?
And the reality is that with how good he's playing, Sorry.
Now, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Well, no, just because I'm frustrated because, first of all, I just like Deuce. I think we all like Deuce here. But it's very, very bittersweet to see him crest a new level of his play. And it seems like the exact moment he really starts to become Super Saiyan Deuce, core surgery.
Right.
You know, and he's the top 40% or whatever, top 5 NBA three-point shooter in the league or something, while also playing great point of attack defense. You really can't replicate that.
Right.
It's just really not something you could do, you know? So it's a bummer.
So to the two questions so that we won't have any open-ended thoughts. The thing with Tyler Kolek, too, just to put a ribbon on the Tyler Kolek thing. The thing with Tyler Kolek and Mike Brown has been a fascinating thought project for a lot of us, because we don't know what Mike Brown sees in order to be motivated to play Tyler Kolek in long stretches. All we know is he'll play Tyler Kolek. Kolek will look great for a long stretch, make 2 or 3 mistakes, and then we may not see Tyler Kolek with consistent minutes for 3 weeks. And we don't know how he gets to the point of returning to Tyler Kolek and what his limit is from Tyler Kolek that makes him snatch Tyler Kolek and have him be a reserve. So when you ask the question about how Alvarado impacts Tyler Kolek, man, we don't know because we don't know the dynamic between Mike Brown and Tyler Kolek.
So that was.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
Well, that was exactly kind of my whole meta point of what I was getting at, is that I feel like a lot of these small ball lineups, I feel like Mike Brown, not his crutch, but like when Tibbs was in a corner, his back was against the wall, he's like, okay, we got to go big, full defense, grind it out, we got to lock everything down. That's like when things are not going well, that's what I feel like Tibbs's impulse was. For Mike Brown, I feel like it's the opposite. He's like, okay, we just got to shoot our way back into the game, get 4 guards on the floor that can all space and just shoot, spacing everywhere, and that's how we're going to get back into the game. And I feel like, in a weird way, the NBA Cup championship game was kind of like the worst thing that could have happened to him, because you get just small ball. I mean, even in Golden State, they're finding out that there's real limits to small ball, even with a Steph Curry, Right. So I feel like that was kind of like the worst false positive. Obviously, I'm happy we won, but if you want to play like a Jordan Clarkson, a Tyler Kolek, you need to have some defensive players that have some size around them, or they're all going to get picked apart. Because what happens? Tyler Kolek gets pressed, he passes to Jordan Clarkson. What happens? Well, now that he gets pressed, just the whole team falls apart. So I just feel like some of that is like lineup decisions that ended up kind of hurting Kolek in some of those matchups.
Well, let me ask you this: Are you consider yourself a basketball thinker or an information compiler? Do you compile information, or you think about stuff?
I don't like to be a slave to the data, if that's what you're asking.
No. I'm just asking your personality type.
I think that to really answer your question, I don't like to put those labels on myself. I think other people can judge me based on how I carry myself, but I like to use the data that I can find to inform my view.
Okay.
So I search and I look, but it's not just to get a certain. Oh, hey, what's up? Hey, Jay, how you doing? Looking good.
What's good?
But it's not for me to just make myself be right. It's like, okay, well, I have all this data. Well, what's the actual context? You can sometimes see some guy be like plus some crazy number in a game, but he played like crap.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's why I'm asking you the question. Jay, what's good, bro? So,
brother, I was searching up and down my mind. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I'll resend it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Resend it. But
yeah, for the both. Anyway, I don't want to stop the flow. Go ahead. I want what you were doing. My bad.
So I was asking Dorcosaurus Rex how he approached his analysis, right? Basically, like, do you compile information and then just have that to recall it? Like, if a question comes, you know where to go to get the data, or do you gather the information to inhale all the information so it impacts how you think, right? It's like I guess like it's like Chat GPT versus Google, like where Google is going to store everything, right? And you can just ask, and Google doesn't think about it, but it can retrieve the information. Or you ask Chat GPT, and Chat GPT can think its way through it. And so for me, I like to think my way through, right? And I'm not saying everyone has to be this, right? But when I'm asked certain questions, when I'm asked a question, I'm thinking about what is being asked in the moment. Like, what's the context? Like, what's the impact of what they're asking? So then I can answer the question based off of what I feel like I know, right?
Right.
So Dorcosaurus had the opinion that maybe adding these last 2 players, and Dorcosaurus, if I'm wrong on this, I'm misquoting. I'm not trying to blame or anything, but I think Dorcosaurus feels like adding the last 2 players may not have been may not be as beneficial to the Knicks going forward as we think, because the answers that we were looking for abroad may have already been in-house already in some of the players that we had on the roster. Is that accurate, Dorcosaurus, or no?
A mix of that. It's like probably halfway that, and it's also probably halfway that I feel like whatever we get, it's like people is like Leon Rose could have signed Jay, and people would have had the same articles. The missing piece, amazing. Now we're going to go to the finals. Like, look at how the whole media establishment responded when he signed Malcolm Brogdon, which we now know was not the most wise signing of basketball history, you know, and that he's the final piece. And finally, we got Brogdon, and you have to do this to and like he retires 10 days later, you know. So you have to be a little bit more skeptical and shrewd because there's no perfect player, you know. And every player has weaknesses, and they probably have weaknesses maybe they don't even know until they get to the Knicks and get playing in a different context, you know? Right. So I just don't want to anoint someone, oh, he's the same, amazing, now we're going to play him 40 minutes every night, he's going to solve every problem. No, he also has issues, you know?
Yeah. Okay. I want, really quick, number one, the first thing you said would have been absolutely the facts. If they were to sign me, we're going to the championship. Automatically, you could already get the praise going, get your drinks right, get your seats unfolded,
champagne.
Yeah, make sure you put some arnica rubbing on your back if you're a little bit older. Yeah. Take a few aspirin. It's gonna be a long day.
Yeah.
So let me go back to go front. The Brogdon thing, just for a second, because you put it out there. I think that man was going to retire no matter what. I think that was a ploy for other people to see that we were bringing in people that had names at some point to bring, so we could get people on a cheaper note, people like Clarkson and stuff that we needed at the moment. I'm not quite sure that he was ever really, that was a serious thing. That was just like, oh, Malcolm Brogdon, people know his name, you know, and that was just to bring other people in. As far as bringing these people in, like, look, Kolek is a good player. He is an up and coming young player, but he doesn't have the speed or the feistiness or some of the things that Alvarado would bring to a team that we were looking for, that everybody says we were looking for. The dog, the little, you know, all that stuff. Not to take away from Kolek. Kolek, yeah, but Jose. Kolek is a definite point guard. But this, you know, I think bringing him in may have yes, there's a log jam at guards, but now you got to figure out what order these people come in. I think, to be honest with you, bringing in people like Sohan and people like Alvarado do this for the Knicks. They allow, because if you go see, look, the teams that win play 9, 10, 11 people, even if it's 9 minutes a clip. Go look at OKC's box score every night. Every night. They got about 4 people. Joe, Wallace.
They're always giving people a chance, bro.
And they're all part of the system, and they all add to the system. So instead of playing 8 people where the core guys have to play 35 minutes a night, now they have to play 30 minutes a night, which reserves energy going towards a run to the playoffs.
I mean,
and if Sohan plays good, well, give me 1 second, brother. If the Sohan plays good, then that's only a benefit for us. And if he plays good enough to where it doesn't disrupt, because I myself did see a little bit of, whoa, this is going to be good. I know being with Freezie for a while, Freezie was definitely looking at this guy. So I started looking at him. He has a lot of good defensive skills. He has a lot of great. We got to stop going with the notion that everybody, and I'm not saying that you are Rex, but that everybody that's coming to the team needs to be able to shoot a 3-pointer, needs to be able to do X, Y, and Z. If you're a specialist at something, then be that and just be that and do the best at that. And if he could do that and Brown finds a way to let Diawara still get his minutes, and some people are going to find themselves out of playing certain amount of minutes. Right now, it looks like Kolick is, but I think it's a beneficial for the most important people on the team, which is the core of our team, right? Because that takes away from the minutes they need to play for the game.
Okay.
Because you have other people coming in, you have other people who will rotate, you have other people. Now you could have legitimate 8 lineups, 10 lineups now.
Okay.
If that makes sense, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And really, Tom Brown, really.
I couldn't agree more. The only person that I really don't want to see at all anymore is Jordan Clarkson. I think he's he's not even redundant. He's a net negative compared to any player we have on the roster at this point. Just I don't even understand. A microwave scorer is supposed to do what exactly? All you can do is score and get scored on. We have enough of that, He can score and turn over the ball. Is not depth. I'm sorry, Doesn't rebound, doesn't get assists, defensive. He's nothing, I just don't understand. I'll never understand it. I was against it from the beginning. That was another signing when they signed him. 6th man of the year. Good for him. 6th man of the year in 2021. It's 2026. But to your point, I was looking at some of the number totals. Like, I think one of the really damaging games was the game we lost to Phoenix, where I believe Diawara only played 12 minutes. Like, OG played 40 minutes in that game. I don't know if Deuce after the game. I think Deuce played a lot of minutes in that game. But, when you're working out, and you're doing, let's say, like a chest push, there's a certain point where if I keep doing this exercise, I'm going to hurt myself. Like, it's a point of where it actually hurts and you're supposed to stop, I feel like we love our players so much and we want them to be good at everything. That's like, just keep playing. They're gritty, they're tough, or this or that. I mean, man, OG has a toe avulsion. That means the bone is separating from the skin. That's serious. Deuce McBride is... Everything he does requires his core muscles. From his shot, he jumps 20 feet into the air to shoot a 3, and he's defending people. I want to make sure that we learn from this, because I feel like, minutes please, Tibbs is gone already, but you pay for it one way or the other, And I feel like we had this terrible OG played all his minutes in December for what exactly? Can one person now justify to me what the extra minutes that OG played in December for his worst month of his career as a professional to separate his toe muscle or from the bone? How do the Knicks benefit from that exactly? I still don't understand to this day,
Okay.
I thought it was his toenail that came off.
They said it was a toenail avulsion. So
Yeah.
I mean, the man goes all out. I think to have somebody that could go all out and relieve him of having to play that much. OG is so necessary to this team. He's probably our second option at this point, if you ask me.
What are you talking about? He's outstanding. He is the team.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one player that you remove him from the team suffers more than OG Anunoby. Seriously, he does so many good things.
But I don't think that was the point y'all were making. I think the point you were making is OG played too many minutes. You could have shaved those minutes back and played Mo Diawara. That was the point you were making, right?
Yeah, especially that Phoenix game. When you look at it, the excuse that I remember of the Pelicans game, he had 18 points in a quarter, but he was minus 12. So against the Suns, 12 minutes, he's a +4. Why doesn't he play in the next quarter? And OG plays 40 minutes to lose the game. Like, we already saw the ending of this movie with Thibodeau. I don't understand why we keep going back to it,
Right.
He was just for context, in the December-January stretch, he was shooting like 10% from 3. He was a -7. He was statistically the worst player in the NBA at that time by plus-minus, which you could say, plus-minus, but he's not exactly out there looking good by playing all these minutes, you know. And now, who knows if he's going to be available, you know?
Yeah. Well, one of the things. Here's the thing, right? Because here's the thing. Because you made a compelling argument for, and now that we're at the point where we can use a compelling argument, we can't just back up from it, right? Because one of the things is you know, the Knicks have talent on the roster already. So with OG out, are you saying, or are you nervous that Sohan will get the majority of those minutes and not Mo Diawara? Is that what you're alluding to?
Again, look, now that you've brought Sochan here, and he is who he is, by any definition, he's a project, shooting 25% from three. Even let's say his job is not to shoot.
Right.
25% from three is categorically a project. I hate to tell you.
Yeah.
So if that's already a guy that you're coming here playing, then it also adds to the conversation of, why can't the forbidden, banished child Pacom Dadie get some real NBA minutes, especially if you're playing Jordan Clarkson like he's a serious piece, which to me is ludicrous.
Agreed. Okay, so I'm on your side on this one. Why is Pacom Dadie?
Me too.
So that's my so for the record, everybody knows that I'm a Pacom Dadie homer, right? Why is he not even on the game day roster?
For me, it's narratives. It's pure narratives, because you're going to tell me, he has this and this mistake. Any mistake you could talk about him. Jordan Clarkson is not 10 times worse, 100 times worse.
Right.
As long as Pacom Dadie is not on the list of bottom 100 defenders in the NBA, which Jordan Clarkson is currently number 11, I'm sorry, you cannot defend it to me.
Right.
Yeah,
He's
to me,
not
it
a
makes
bottom 10
it
defender in
makes
the
no
NBA.
sense at all that they have this young man sitting on the sideline while, like, what are you doing? I know there are certain restrictions, but
I'll even take it
anyway,
further.
were you going somewhere with the Uncle Freeze with the
With Danier? No. I don't.
I'll take it further.
No.
I'll take it further. So now that we love Mohamed Diawara, everybody loves Mohamed Diawara in the community, not just me, the guy that says play the kids, right? Everybody in the whole organization, they liked Mohamed Diawara even before I did, is how they would make it seem. So you're telling me now that the kid who was picked 26 picks higher, that has the same foundational skills, that went to the same youth talent development camps in France, same teammates, 7 years, same coaches, same foundation. Make it more fundamental. Why is Mohamed Diawara a good basketball player? Why? Where did it come from? Did it come from 2 months on the Knicks, or 9 years where he was training in France, that he had a good foundation that made him ready for the NBA? Unless you think that everything good about Mohamed Diawara materialized into existence overnight the second he put on a Knicks jersey, which we all know is not true, then you have to concede that Saint Charles Charenton and Paris basketball, where both Pacom and Mohamed Diawara played for 9 years, 7 years, prepared them for the NBA. Clearly, there's some foundation there that left Mohamed Diawara better prepared to go to the NBA than most rookies. That's just a true statement.
Okay. Well, when you say better, I'm just going to look at it from I'm going to look at it from the other side of the room. I'm going to say that if Tom Thibodeau was in his 6th year as head coach, I don't think Mo Diawara is playing, right? I don't. I think Mo Diawara fits a Mike Brown system better. He's a better system fit to me. And that's why Mike Brown plays him, because he's a big, rangy, potentially multi-purpose piece that you can use in multiple lineups without creating some type of duplicity or some type of whatever, right? Now, if Tibbs were here, Jeremy Sohan would be the answer to all these questions, period. Right? There would not even be a Mo Diawara conversation, right? Tonight, but before we get back to games, we would know the answer. We would be asking ourselves legitimately, is Jeremy Sohan going to start if Tibbs were here? Right?
Yep, I knew you were about to say that.
Yep. In my mind, right now, Tibbs is not here. Mike Brown is here.
You're saying the defense and pace?
And well, in fairness, in fairness to everyone, like we don't really even know, even now, with how many games have we played? 50 something games. So even with 50 something games played, 50 plus games played, we still don't know who we are as a team under Mike Brown. There have been some good stretches. There have been some bad stretches. There have been some stretches where players have looked fantastic and maybe look like potential NBA starters, i.e. Tyler Kolek, i.e. Mo Diawara. Even Kev McCullough at times has looked fantastic in small spurts, but we still don't know what this team is going to be under Mike Brown. So we have a lot more questions than answers still, and it has nothing to do with Alvarado or, in my opinion, has nothing to do with Alvarado or Sohan. It's because I think the Knicks are still out.
My whole thing is like now, from the beginning of this year to now, I think the Knicks fan base and organization went through a change, and I think part of that is like overcoming latent Tibbsisms, like, oh, well, we can't play kids. Well, now we can't play kids while we're trying to win. Like, now we can. Everybody sees it's part of a formula this Knicks team can have. So for me, now that Mohamed Diawara has been this like anointed player that everybody used to steal at the draft, aren't you at least curious? Isn't like an incumbent on you as an organization? You have one kid that came from the system. What if you have two of them? You know what I'm saying? Like, isn't that at least a question in your brain? Imagine that the roles were reversed, and you had Mohamed Diawara sitting on the bench, he never got a chance, and Bakolam Dadi is getting all these minutes, and you wouldn't at least be curious, what is Mohamed Diawara?
Yeah,
like, I'll never understand that, because the opportunity cost of that is huge.
Right.
Like, imagine you in this whole season. Imagine Mohamed Diawara sitting on the bench, and I'm the lunatic up here saying, "Oh, play Mohamed Diawara." And oh, Mohamed Diawara. Like, how much would the team have lost out this season?
Right. I think they're all talented. I like all three of the wings. They're the three of them are all different. Dadier brings a certain thing. I believe that that Pakem Dadier is going to be an elite NBA defender, not just off of physical ability and things of that sort, but because of defensive IQ and things that defenders have, things that defenders are born with that are innate, right? It's like the difference between a shortstop and a second baseman. They just have they both play up the middle, but they have totally different mindsets. The shortstop is looking to cover everything in the middle, everything between the catcher and the center fielder. The shortstop wants to be involved, right? The second baseman is mainly thinking about covering the bag. Get to anything, but anything at the bag is the second baseman's job, even though both are up the middle. And so with our wings, we have Sohan. Sohan is a moldable piece of clay. We don't know what he's going to be yet. Dadier is a moldable piece of clay. We don't know what he's going to be yet. Diawara is a moldable piece of clay, and we don't know what he's going to be yet, but we know where one of his aggressions lies. One of his aggressions lies in the half-court offense, and he can ball handle. He's a comfortable ball handler, right? So if we're talking about the future of Knicks wings, where Sohan will be the oldest at 23, and then Diawara at 21, and then Dadier, who's 20 and will be 21 later on in the summer, I think the future is bright for that position, because basically if you draft a 4-year guy now, you're basically going to be drafting, say if a guy was coming out of Duke this year as a senior, he would be Jeremy Sohan. But at the same time, Jeremy Sohan has 4 years of NBA experience already. So it's one of those things. Do we pit these three against each other? Do we pit these three against the coach? Or are we patient to see if the Knicks are going to retain? Are the Knicks going to retain Sohan at the end of the season? Are they going to retain Diawara at the end of the season? Right? Are they going to keep Dadier or put Dadier in a trade for something this summer? we don't know yet. The thing is, the next 50 or so games, I think, is going to tell a lot, but still won't tell it all. And some of it we'll just have to have faith, right? Some of it we'll just have to have faith that Jeremy Sohan, his development in San Antonio was one thing. His development with the New York Knicks is going to be another, right? We just have to have faith in it. Because if it's not there, then we just have to move on from them.
So that's what I was getting at. Is I don't like that a lot of fans, they have Diawara is good and Pacom is bad. How? It makes no sense that they're from the same talent development pipeline, and it doesn't even help the Knicks. Imagine, like I said, reverse the situation. That the narrative is reversed and Diawara is bad and Dadier is good, and you play Dadier freely and Diawara never gets a chance to play. Who loses in that situation? The Knicks. The Knicks is by far the biggest loser in that situation. Yeah. And again, when it comes to eye test and narratives versus statistics, this is a point where I feel like statistics do matter. So remember we talked about average speed. So going by average speed rankings, the number one offensive speed guy on their team is Landry Shamet. Number two is Pacom Dadier by average speed rankings. If you go on Crafted NBA, Pacom Dadier ranks in the 99th percentile for deflections, for rim frequency, for passer rating, he's in the 100th percentile. For relative personal fouls, he doesn't foul very much. For going to the free throw line, he's 93rd percentile. 3-point attempt, there's a lot of elite statistics here, and nobody could tell me that Jordan Clarkson offers more on a basketball court than this kid right now. That is not a basketball argument. It just isn't.
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, and me and Jay, the chosen one, have a similar conversation on the Mets channel that we do, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a similar. Yeah, it's about the kids, right? Why are the kids stuck behind a certain veteran, and you're looking at the veteran like, the fuck? Why is Tyrone Taylor out here? Or why? Oh, just random. Just the other. Why did we sign JD Martinez? Right, like legit similar conversations, right? The thing to answer your question, so to answer Docosaurus Rex's question, right, is clearly not about his ability. It's more about the comfort level of the starters and those guys that are trying to win a championship, right? And I understand, like, by bringing Donnie up to speed, it only helps the Knicks get better. But when you take away the all-out effort to win a championship for, spot stuff for development, I think it causes a distraction. Now, I don't agree with it. But I remember being a sophomore on the varsity team, not getting minutes, right? I'm a sophomore on varsity, and the dude in front of me I'm taller than him, more athletic than him, and I could shoot. Back then, this is a long time ago. This is like 1982, 1983, something like that. The dude in front of me is a senior, but the thing about it is the coach didn't play me with that group of guys because all those guys had chemistry together. And by taking him out and putting somebody in, now you have to work a guy in and all this stuff. And then what do you do with the guy that you sat? Right? And so it's a lot of. So I agree with Docosaurus on this. Play Dadier, man. What are you doing? There's no way Clarkson's better than Dadier, right? There's no way.
But it's his worst year of his career. What are we doing?
Yeah, I know, man. But
it's not 6 man of the year Clarkson, where he's averaging 9 points per game while giving away 1,000.
Right. But there's a political or a chemistry aspect of it.
Well, you just said it's the politics, and I'm like, look, man, politics doesn't win you a chip at the end of the day. Maybe you know what my analogy is: eat your vegetables. You don't like eating your vegetables. You don't trust that eating your vegetables is good for you. It doesn't matter if you trust it. It's still good for you at the end of the day. It tastes good up front. It's not pleasing like eating a candy or a cake, but it's still good for you.
No, listen, Rex, you finally found somebody. I promise that you've been. So Rex is I will give him this. He is a constant he is constant commitment to the kids playing. He has never wavered on any platform. He is for that. I think, to answer your question regarding that, the Knicks fans are preferring to see Clarkson over Dadier is only due to the fact is that's what they've seen. And that goes all the way back to the science, to the political and the business aspect of basketball or sports. It's right. It's the fact that we brought in Clarkson, who had a name and had something, and even though he shows us on a regular basis that he'll go score, and his guy will go and score on him, and perhaps McComb will do a better job at it. The Knicks fans only have one thing to work on: the eyeball test. McComb's on the side, not playing, and this guy is. So that's why the Knicks fans are saying put Clarkson in.
So it's comfort.
They don't know it. They didn't deep dive like you did. You understand what I'm saying? It's more surface. It's more surface viewage.
Yeah.
Than it is.
Look, Jay, it's just
knowledge.
to make the point a little bit here is like, yes, I support play the kids, this and that, but people think it's like, oh, it's a nice story, I feel bad for them. The very first thing that came up here on this chat saying is that I'm skeptical about Sochan. I don't just think every young player should automatically play and throw every vet in the trash. I'm saying in this particular team's need case, where Jordan Clarkson is in 2026, is not a championship level depth piece. We can be honest about this.
Right, but listen, have you noticed that his playing time has gone down and down and down and down?
Yes, but then recently, and this also bothers me because now it's starting to sabotage DUR. So the default bench rotation for Mike Brown in the last 2 games has been, okay, now bench time. The bench rotation is he brings in Mitch, DUR, and Clarkson all 3 together. Now, who do you think is going to be better next to DUR and make DUR look the best? DUR and Mitch, and Clarkson, or DUR, Mitch, and Dadier? If you had to pick between those 2 lineups.
Well, I would pick McComb because I think Clarkson is at the end of his career and he doesn't have played defense at all. But when we got him for the price we got him, and they didn't play McComb, we can only go off of what we watch and what we have, what's been played.
Okay.
And if he gets in there and he plays if, and that's the big if, right? The fact is that this is not on Clarkson. It's not Clarkson's fault that he's playing. It's not Clarkson's fault that McComb's not playing.
I think that time is on the way.
Right, it's coming.
But the one of the things though, the difference between Clarkson and Dadier, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm a Dadier fan. I don't care who sits if Dadier has to play. I want Dadier to play, right? Clarkson is just the guy we're pointing out right now, right? Yep. But there are other things that go along with basketball outside of shooting and, you know, giving up. There are so many things like running your offensive sets versus multiple defensive looks. Like you want to run a certain offense and Mike Brown calls it from the side, and then the defense sees what set you're running and they change up defenses. Dadier is not going to be able to recognize all these NBA defenses in real time. He's going to need some time to get used to this thing, maybe because in theory, this is his rookie year because Tibbs didn't play him last year. Same thing with Colett. So these guys are like in a redshirt freshman year because they didn't play last year. And so I understand why they give a longer leash to Clarkson about staying in. Look, they'll call something. Let's say, Jay, let's say they call disco. Like Mike Brown be like, hey, disco. And they get ready to run, say guards folding up from the wing from down screens from bigs, right? Say disco, right? But say disco was a look against say an aggressive man-to-man with a spy in the circle, right? But then when Brunson calls disco, right, they change and everybody is face guarding, right? So now what does Dadier do? Right? He's got to learn what to do in those moments. And somebody's probably gonna have to tell him, right? Because the speed of the game will be different from any other league that he played in, even though he's a redshirt freshman in this league, he hadn't played. But when there's an audible situation out there, Jordan Clarkson will know what to do because he's been in the league 14 years. And so Jordan Clarkson being a 14-year vet won't impact the other 4 veterans on the floor. But if Dadier is there, then the other 4 vets got to account for Dadier being new. Now, with that said, that situation that I mentioned, that day is gonna come, right? That day is gonna come, right? But does that day come when you're in the middle of a playoff push where you're trying to get the 2 seed, or is that at the beginning of a season thing? Is that in blowouts? Is that in less? Is that going to come in low leverage situations, basically?
Versus New Orleans or something different like that.
Can I interject, because I understand your point, but like my response, and maybe it's a bit callous, but my response is literally like, so what? Like Jordan Clarkson has been in the league to know long enough to know every single coverage, this, that, yada, yada, yada. He's still out of position every other play, especially on defense. He still overcommits. He still gets blown by. And he's also only on this team for 1 year. Right. So he's got nothing new to learn either. And I'm like, do you really think you can perfectly script down to the last millisecond every minute aspect of a basketball game?
No.
Because that, to me, is ludicrous. And even if a guy knows everything to perfect coverage, it basically says that you're valuing the illusion of competence and compliance over actual results. That he's in the right place, but he gets shot over and he fouls, but, he's a vet, so he did the right thing technically on paper. Right. Who cares? Literally, who cares? He was in the right place and he still fouled him. Who cares?
Right. Well, the thing I was talking about is on offense, but I understand your point. Duly noted.
Like, let's be real.
That day is going to come regardless. The day that the first time happens is going to come, right?
Yep.
That day.
Let's be honest. DOR is the best case example because he's a 51st pick. Let's be honest. It's his first year in the NBA. You think he's only played perfect basketball this whole year? He never had one bad game?
No,
ridiculous.
No, he ain't played perfect basketball. No.
So what are we doing here? And clearly, by the fact that we suffered through some of his early mistakes, he had one game versus Orlando, for example. I recall he didn't hit a shot. He played 15 minutes. He's better, and the team is better. Instantly, just by that. So, like, I would rather live with that than Jordan Clarkson comes in and the Phoenix game. Just by the Phoenix game, Jordan Clarkson, he fouled Devin Booker twice in the fourth quarter. Is that a veteran mistake or a rookie mistake?
Right. Yeah, but you know something? I think, like, no matter what, at this point, to piggyback off of what Uncle Freezie just said, is that day will come as bad as you wanted it to be yesterday. Not today, not tomorrow, but yesterday. And I know you do. The fact is that the politics of it has called for it not to happen now. And whatever that reason is, and even if that reason is absolutely making you go bananas, and here are the bananas to prove it, I don't disagree with anything you're saying about that. The fact of the matter is the choice has been made.
Look, it's not like I'm just saying every young guy is better than every vet in every circumstance. I'm telling you that. Just look at Jordan Clarkson's games in January. He was a minus 18 versus the Warriors. We lost by less than 18 points. In January, collectively, he was a minus 70. So, because the politics of who signed who and who represents who, that's more important than us winning right now? Like, I don't accept that. I'm sorry. I understand the money and the image and the this and the that. The basketball and the other team doesn't care about that.
All right.
Right. And we understand that too. But do you understand that he hasn't played, which is a decision that has been made?
No, that I understand. I'm just saying that, like, it's not a winning decision. The overarching, like, the label is, oh, he's a vet, he's safe, he's 6 man of the year, he knows the rotations. Like, I know the arguments. Like, for Landry Shamet, I accept that. I don't like Landry Shamet. Hell, I like Jordan Clarkson as a person more than I like Landry. I mean, whatever. I don't know either of them, but whatever. I'm not saying specifically replace Jordan Clarkson or Landry Shamet with a young guy. I'm saying Jordan Clarkson in particular. Like I said, Yabusele, from the beginning of the offseason, I said this is not a guy that is going to be able to replicate his game as easily in New York because he was playing with Adam Bona and Quentin Grimes and tall physical defenders in Philly. It was a different context, and Maxi's like a blur compared to anybody we have, you know?
Yeah, and one of the things too, I just want to put this on the board. And listen, Gershon Yabusele, thank you for your service. Thank you for the way that you came in, and thank you for the way that you went out. Right,
especially the way you went out.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Yabusele, though. For some reason, on the Knicks' brains, we look at what Philly did last year as if Yabusele was saving it. He wasn't. Philly was tanking.
There was no one else there to play.
Right. They played.
They did not play him strategically at the 5. Oh, this is the optimal basketball. Just like, no.
They put him there because they know they didn't want to win. Quentin Grimes scored 39 points in the game, and then the next game, I think he took 4 shots. Like, look, you have to look at Philly's. Look at Philly. I think Grimes had 45 in one game last year.
And there were also plenty of games where Yabusele had 0-6 from 3, like we saw him on the Knicks on Philly last year.
Right. Yeah. So while I appreciate Yabusele and everything he's done, right, he wasn't Joel Embiid's replacement, right? He would, because if they wanted to win, they would have started Andre Drummond.
I feel like that what they were thinking is like, oh, he's going to be the French Draymond. We're going to come and get him from Philly, and he's going to be the passing and, you know, high IQ and spacing like
he might be Bars Diaw, right? And I get it, but
Bars Diaw.
Yeah, but no, he's not. He's not that. He's not that.
Meanwhile, in Chicago, he's playing well again. Yeah. Because what are they trying to do? Who knows what they're trying to do?
Who knows what they're trying to do?
I think that team fits him better, but whatever.
It probably does. You know, he you know, we're not playing the style that he was playing before or now.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that I said to begin with about Alvarado is like, I'm not saying he's good or bad, but to look at, he was a good defender in the Pelicans. You can't just copy and paste down to the Knicks and think that's how it's going to work. If the context matters a lot.
Yeah, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Hey, fellas, thank y'all for coming through. Chat, thank y'all for coming through, hanging out with us. The Knicks Tonight podcast. Salute to everybody. Hope y'all had a good time. No doubt about it, bro. I'm going here and get me some rest. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody that celebrates. We are gonna get out of here, y'all. Oh, Jay, you got something before we wrap?
No, just listen, man. Peace and blessings to all y'all. Treat your ladies nice. If you're ladies, treat your men nice. Blessings to people. Listen, man, the Knicks, whether we like it or not, are going to operate the way they operate, and we just have to be Knicks fans. We don't have to like everything they do, but we have to love the team themselves on the front of the shirt.
Yeah, man.
So whoever comes here, I'm rooting for, and I think Alvarado's done a very beyond serviceable job. And I'm rooting for your guy because I know that you've been wanting this guy for a minute.
Yeah.
So let's see what he does, and hopefully Brown, does a good job of delegating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that, everybody, happy Valentine's Day. Whoever you loving, whoever you loving, man, y'all have a happy Valentine's Day. Peace, everybody.
Happy Valentine's.
I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul.